Welcome back to another episode of Gas Under Pressure, where we finish up and light this Coleman PQ. So those of you who may have been following along with this may be looking and saying, Mr. Gas Under Pressure, there seems to have been a lot of progress made that we didn't see. And the answer to that is, yep, you are correct. So I kind of fight with this a little bit in terms of providing some good content. Just my fan here a little bit. Hopefully it's not too buffety, but nonetheless, in the idea of providing good content without really going extremely long, I'm kind of like making some decisions on as to how much I'm going to show you the process and how much I don't. So if you like the way this is going, then say, yeah, that's great. Or if you don't like the way that's going, say, dude, really, we want to see it all. We want to see those 2-hour-long videos of you wrenching away, which I can certainly do, but I just want to make sure that that's what everyone really wants to see. And what I'm trying to do is trying to boil this down to the absolutely nitty-gritty and not really mess around with too much of the kind of boring stuff, right? So an update on what's going on. So you can see here, this is looking pretty fabulous. It looks great all the way around. There are a few streaks here and there on it, but by and large, it's in really good looking shape. And what I've done with this is that, of course, I've done the original do it with the oven cleaner, and we did that a couple of times. First time I kind of ran out and I wasn't able to keep it wet the whole time. The second time, got it sprayed down good, got it inside a bag, let it sit for a while, and when we're done, it was pretty good, but not great. So what I ended up doing was I felt that the oven cleaner had done all it can do, and then I grabbed the mothers and worked on that with the quadruple lot steel wool, and then got off most of the polish with the rag, and then kind of came in with a soft buffer on the drill there, and then just gently went over this. And so, you know, with this here, oops, that's actually making it worse now because that's a little dirty. Anyway, what you don't want to do is you don't want to over buff and go right through the nickel. And you know, there's not always, the nickel on these pretty heavy, but you obviously don't want to go crazy. So that was just to save some time. But at any rate, it looks really pretty darn good. Now, other things you'll notice here that we've got our burners on here. Well, and if you're really sharp, you'll notice that this is clocked 180 degrees out. The fillers here, the valves are actually supposed to be facing forward, but just because of the way everything came together, that's not how it came together. I probably could do that, but you know, I'm not going to be too much of a stickler. I mean, it's held together with solder, right? Yeah, so we're going to apply the effort where it really needs to be applied. The valves are both straight, clocked right, and everything is facing the right way. These are actually the crazy, mangled, bent up burners that were on here when we first put it on the channel. You know that I had bought some replacements put on there, which are these, and here they are, and they are in really pretty good shape. These are quick light burners, but at any rate, I was like, well, you know what, let's see if I can straighten them out. And you know, I'll be darned if I didn't straighten them out actually pretty darn good. So I was really happy with that. So that's great. What else has happened? Yes, so these little couplers here, you know, remember we started, we had two stacked on one side, and the other one was the valve was screwed straight into the swan neck here. I think they did that to change the level. I'm not sure, because it obviously adds probably about not quite a half an inch, but maybe about a half an inch or so to it. I don't know. These also have an orifice through the middle of them to restrict flow, so it's not just full flow of this whole tube. It does actually have a restriction in there. So so I got one on each side like they're supposed to be, and then got the burners properly clocked to the valve, so I am they're facing front like they're supposed to be, right? So they're supposed to look like this. It's really interesting, the clocking on this. You have to clock this to here, and this to here, and then this to here. So you got 3 different clocks to worry about. And the way that I kind of all made it work out is that I use the Permatex Indian, what do they call it? Yeah, Indian head gasket shellac compound. So this looks like an awful lot like the Gasolia, the red seal that you'd see on the founts. And what I did with that was it was to make sure that everything would seal up and not leak. And that stuff's good to 350 degrees, which I don't think we'll ever see down here. So it should be fine. The other thing is that these couplers here, as I did more reading, these were soldered to the swan neck, and so I took them both off. And I remarked at one time, oh hey, looks like it was soldered, maybe it was leaking. No, it was soldered because it was soldered from the factory, and I just kind of monkeyed or gorillaed that right off of there. So maybe not too smart, but at any rate, it's back on there. I didn't damage anything. And then I've got the everything assembled back together again. Flushed the fount a few times. You know, its clocking is what it is, so I don't have any leaks, but yeah, it should be pretty good. It holds pressure. In fact, yeah, as I open that up, I can hear a hiss, so it is holding pressure. I've done the cheater method of putting the 427 rubber gasket underneath here, so I can have a finger type filler on this. So what we have to do at this point is finish this off. Oh yeah, remember those really terrible looking smashed up looking shade holders? Well, I have reconstructed one of them. The other one, it had a broken weld, so that one is off until I can figure out exactly if I can ever find someone that has a spot welder to spot welder back together, or I may try drilling it and putting a screw, but you know, with the heat, and I don't know how well that'll work. But at any rate, I rated another one off of one of my other ones. So, but this one was the one that was completely folded in. We'll get some pictures up there so you can kind of see what it looks like. So I got that. We've got 2 Q99s. One which I rated off of my 327, and I know this one's working, and another one which I rated off another BQ that I had behind me. And the fun part about this is when I pulled it out, it had no gas tip in it. So whoever lit that lamp last time must have had one heck of an experience, because it was absolutely just a piece of pipe at the end. So it would have been just gas would have just been rocketing out of there. So yeah, that I'm sure was pretty exciting for that person. It also looks like it had some water in it at some time, because there's a little bit of verdigris in there. So we'll see how long this works before it plugs up. But at any rate, we've got 2 generators. So the other thing with this is that these don't really line up in a way that you know what, I don't know if I should turn it more. I mean, there's more threads, but what I've done with the other one here, and it's locked in place, is that I use muffler cement. I could probably also on here, I could probably crimp the tube a little bit, make it a little bit oblong, so that way it's a little bit cruddy in there. I already kind of went through there, but we'll just give a little bit of the bronze brush treatment. Anyway, so I'm going to use the muffler cement trick here, which will once we get this on there and it gets heated up, it will hold it in place. And it actually, that one hasn't been fired yet, and it's gonna hold it in place. So we're just gonna put this in there. It's essentially like a clay, so it will seal up, and it will hold the burner in its proper orientation. And it's just a really easy way to kind of solve those clocking problems, since it is a high temperature type sealant. So we'll go ahead and get that on here, because these don't have a screw in them. They just kind of screw on. Let's see where it's going to stop here. Sooner or later should, yeah, that's where it wants to stay. So hopefully when we fire this up, then it will it'll hold itself in place. These burner tubes, all of these things here, that's the other thing that I did. Man, were these things clogged with with all kinds of mud dauber nests and bugs and everything. I mean, burner tubes were like completely solidly occluded. There was nothing getting through them. So got a lot of that out of there, cleaned them up, and now they flow good. But yeah, both of these were absolutely packed stem to stern with mud dauber nests, and obviously full of dead mud daubers. So we're gonna screw this back in here. Yeah, it's really pretty amazing how well the dents came out of this thing. I was really surprised. See, now this is the one that's got some wrench marks on it, so that's probably about as far as that one's gonna go. Right, so now we can put the shade holders back on. And the reason we're doing this now is because you have to have these on there because the top of these mixing chambers have got holes in them, right? Obviously you got to put a screw in it. Well, it's a very easy error to make, is to say, oh man, I can't wait to fire this up, and say, oh, I don't need to put those shade holders on, I'm not going to put the shades on it, and just fire it up. Well, the problem is that you're going to be launching fuel vapor out of the top of that, and it's not going to run right, it's not going to burn right, and you're going to wonder what on earth has happened. And the fact is that it is yeah, this thing is still kind of wiggly here. So we'll just hope that that sets up. If not, we may have to do something a little different. It would have been nicer if these had the screws, because then you wouldn't have to worry about it. So anyway, we have to kind of worry about it with this one. So get this started in here, sort of. No, this one didn't feel right. With these brass threads, you just always want to be kind of careful with them to make sure that you don't form any new ones. Since this is kind of, yeah, it's just had some trash in the threads, probably some of that mud and dirt and whatnot that didn't get completely out of there, so we're in good shape. Okay, that looks pretty good. So next step is let's get some generators on this thing. So when I bought this, it had no generators, so I don't know how long it's been without, but it's getting them now, and who knows how long it's been since it's actually had some real generators in it. But we're getting really close to fire time here. Oh, that's the other thing. I should have mentioned this at the very beginning of the video. I've got a Discord server running now for Coleman collectors and people that want to chat about Colemans. And I'll put a link in there. Well, there'll be a link in the description, but if I can put a link in the video here, I'll do that too. And then if you want, you can get on there. You can chat about collecting Colemans. You can chat about videos. You can talk about whatever. So it's all good. And I hope this one wants to go on right and not cross thread on me. Feels a little suspect, but I think again we've got just a little bit of dirt in the threads, so you just kind of work that back and forth. Yeah, that's all it is. It's working like it's supposed to now. Yeah, as I sit here, I realize I have my phone on me, and hopefully it's not been buzzing into the mic. It sits right by the cable over there, and when it does something, you'll hear buzzity buzz, buzz, buzz. So if you've been hearing that, that's what it is. Hopefully that'll not have been happening, but if it has, hopefully now it'll stop. Yeah, this one has definitely got all kinds of dirt in it, because it is just taking a lot to get it to tighten up. Okay, we should be about there with this one. Oh, yeah, there we go. That looks good. All right, generator's on. We're looking ready for business. So with this thing here, I'm going to probably have to pour a fair bit of fuel into here before it actually hits the pickup. You may have seen in the earlier video the really weird looking pickup that it has sticking out the bottom. And let's see. I'm gonna pour into this beaker here so I can understand how much I'm pouring in. I wish I had a larger beaker, but unfortunately this is all I got. So I can pour 200 milliliters at a shot. So we'll probably fill this twice. And then give it a pump and see if we can get some action. Yeah, you'll notice that I'm not tying on mantles just yet. And yeah, with this one, you got to tie 4 mantles on. And for 4 mantles, if something's wrong, that's kind of a lot of mantle money to be thrown away. So gonna try to make sure everything fires up reasonably well. I think I may put 3 of these in there just to make sure, whoops, that it has some fuel hitting that pickup. That capped up. Yeah, it's a little cooler here today, but man, it's still pretty warm. It's very, very humid. We actually got some rain, almost an inch of rain yesterday, so that's super fantastic. I don't think we've had that much rain since January, so that is great. But yeah, now it's like really super humid, even more than normal. I think the dew point was as high as 80 yesterday, which is just absolutely crazy as to how high that is. That means that if you took something outside that was 80 degrees, it would actually condense water out of the air onto the surface of that object. So it gives you an idea how high the humidity is here. Okay, make sure my valves are firmly closed. We're gonna get Mr. Big Pump out. I don't know how long, probably 20, 30 pumps, I don't know. That's 20, that seems like a lot out of this big volume pump here. So we'll see how that treats us. I think I'll start this off with the little butane. I really need to get a new one of these. Okay, I'll start off with my known good generator, and we'll just kind of preheat the loop here. Should be probably pretty good. Give it some fuel. Oh yeah, we got fire wanting to happen. Fan is kind of messing with it a little bit. Maybe we'll turn this down a little bit. I can see a little bit of a problem down here. That's not tight enough. Okay, so that is doing pretty good. It's just blowing out because we've got no mantles on it. That's running a little better. Okay, let's see if we can get them both running. This one is going to be interesting because I have no idea on the status of this generator here. None whatsoever. Almost looks like it might have been a handmade job, but it's probably not. Oh, I see lots of fuel leakage down at the bottom and no fuel flow out the top. So tells me this is not tight enough. Ah, got a hole in the generator. So that's not so good. You can see that right out the side there. So definitely this generator is not going to work. And we've got all kinds of leakage down below. So we're just going to kind of blow that out. This one's working perfectly fine. We're going to turn this off before it kills my knob. So this one is working great. This one, I need to go rate a generator from a known working good one, but yeah, this generator here is trash in more ways than one. So it has the problem of it had a missing gas tip, and then of course it had a hole in the generator tubing itself, so that's not any good. So that's got to be thrown away. I can save the nut and I can save the gas tip off it, but yeah, the generator is, there's no hope for it. So anyway, let me go ahead and do that, and then we'll jump back in. Okay, so as you can see from the collection of cans and other penetrating oils and cleaners and everything else, I happened to find in my stash of things an R55 generator, which is the Rototype. There we go, if I can hold it so you can actually see what it looks like. These replaced these Q99s, and so these actually have a tip cleaner in them, or these don't. But these do have a asbestos filter, if you will, through the middle of this, which generally keeps the carbon from going into here, and until this finally plugs up, and then you have to throw it away, or you might be able to straighten them. And I'm giving you a sneak peek at another another episode, but this right here is this, just in more straight form, and then well, we'll talk a lot more about that on another show. But anyway, this one seems to blow clear. The pricker needle was messed up. The pricker lever was frozen, so I unfroze that, little bit of heat, little bit of penetrating oil, and I turned it, and got a little bit of carbon that came out when I did that, which I really don't like the looks of. So I think what I want to do is I want to apply a little bit of oomph to this to I'm not sure if it's going to be oomphlable, so we'll see if we get fuel leaking out through there, then we're going to have to go get that other generator, but this one hopefully will work. I actually bought new replacement roto generators because they still make them. They are expensive. They're about well, if you find a good deal, they're 25 bucks. If you don't, they're 35 bucks or more. But they do make brand new ones, and so there's one right there. But what I'm going to do is that I've actually bought new burners for this, which will allow me to use standard 220 generators. So they're the Leacock Coleman burners, the what do they call it, the new type 220. Anyway, so I bought those, and I will be probably putting those on at some time in the future. But for right now, we're just trying to get to a point to where we can light this bugger. So we'll see how we get there with this. Hopefully this will work. Yeah, because the nozzle was a little bit plugged, and then rotates this around so it's the front nozzle. The gas tip was a little plugged, and the needle was also bent, so there was no way that it could actually go up in there. So fix that. And so now, and I also flushed it through with a bit of carb cleaner just to make sure that I would, if there's any kind of loose junk, I would blow it out. So now we'll go ahead and preheat again with this. and we'll see how this works. So hopefully this is going to be a little bit more successful than the last time. So far, no leaks, but also nothing else. All right. Maybe we need to spin the spinner. Whoops. Trying to hear if I can hear it. Oh yeah, we're getting a little bit of action. Maybe I just need to open this up a lot more. This is a different valve than the other one. It's trying. There we go. Just had some scuzz in the tip there. So we'll keep on heating this up a bit to get this to maybe light a little better. Okay. So we got 2 running there, which is great. We're gonna light this here because I want to see all 4 going. Well, that's a little bit, there we go. Okay. So we've got pretty nice flow through all these here, which is great. As I'm sitting here thinking about this, I don't think I want to, oh darn. Let's do this. I don't want to run them too long because then we're going to be too hot to tie mantles on. So let's go ahead and shut these off. I don't see any leaks, so that's great. So let's get to tying a whole lot of mantles. Oh man, this is probably going to be really, really hot. Bummer. Okay, that's all right. So now for mantles here, let's see, I've got some of these which are the quantity 4. So, right, quantity 4 for this big old thing. It's really pretty exciting here. I've been wanting a PQ for a long time, and to get one and actually get it up and running and doing everything it needs to do is really super exciting. So I hope you all are enjoying the ride along with this as much as I am. Okay, man, we're gonna have to speed this up in post so it doesn't take forever, or maybe we'll just jump ahead to where I'm just burning them off. We'll do something here so you're not sitting here watching me tie mantles for 10 minutes. Whew, okay. It's a lot of mantle tying. So right, I'm gonna burn these off. These are gonna make a lot of smoke. I'm probably gonna light it and step away. So let's do that. Get these all going. Right. All that smoke's going up, so I'm just going to stay down here, try to get these to kind of cook off a little better. This one on here on the right seems super fragile. It's like it's different from the other one. All right, so let's see if we can't get some lighting in here. Oh yeah, it wants to go. This one's got a really short clearance between the tip cleaner and the rest of it here, so we'll give this a couple of spins. See how we don't get along. Well, there we go. Looky there, 4 burning. That's pretty awesome. Maybe I need to spin this around a little bit, and we will give it a little bit more air pressure, because I think we may be a little bit low. There we go. That is great. That is great. It is really good to see this thing running. Man. And honestly, really, I gotta say, it wasn't a tremendous amount of effort to get it done. Really what we've got, straighten out the brass, flush out the fuel, fix the whole kind of bent swan necks, and get the couplers right, get the valve replacement right, because that other valve had a completely trashed knob on it. I think I have it here somewhere, maybe not, I don't know. Anyway, and then clean out all the burner tubes, put some fuel in it, polish it up, air it up, tie on some mantles, and you got a light, and that is it. So that is awesome. So crowning glory for this are shades. Which I happen to have right here. So put this on here, on that one, that one on this one, and there you go. The Coleman PQ chandelier light. Pretty close to being straight. It might need a little bit more tweaking on here. Oh, okay, that just needs to be settled down in there. Yeah, that looks pretty great. That is pretty awesome. Oh, I'm seeing a little bit of flame here on this side. I gotta shut this one off. I got a little bit of, well, maybe I can just crank down on the valve on this, because it's a little bit, where's my wrench? Yeah, you'll know it's tight when the fire goes out, right? That's the idea. There we go. I don't know if this is wanting to be a little bit tighter. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Got a little bit of smoke coming out, which tells me there's some leak past here a little bit. Yeah. Okay, there we go. No other leaks. That's good. All right. Back to that's why it's always good. Yeah, I'm still seeing some smoke on there. It's still a little bit loose. But anyway, that's it. I'm not gonna make you sit here and stare at me do this for a while. I'll just get this cranked down and we'll get that to stop. But sometimes there's fuel that's in there too that also has to kind of bake out once it started to do that, but it looks like it's abating. So anyway, that is the story. That is the last part of the Coleman PQ chandelier lamp. It is pretty awesome. It's great. It's going to hang on the back porch for this winter. It's going to light us up real nice. So that's the story. So until next time, keep them lit.